Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. We're going to do an update on the situation with Wizards of the Coast and the OGL drama with Dungeons and Dragons. It has gone from bad to worse, just as we predicted it would. It turns out that it's looking like that leaked version of OGL, the license 1.1, is actually accurate. Based on some stuff that we're hearing from Kickstarter and whatnot, and the fan community is going absolutely insane. They're raging at Wizards of the Coast. This is so crazy. It's such a change from what happened, last year when Wizards of the Coast could do no wrong. Wizards of the Coast was, they were the good guys. Anybody that was critical of Wizards of the Coast were demonized. They were tarred and feathered on Twitter, and now Twitter is absolutely losing its mind talking about this situation. So we're going to talk about the continued backlash. I think it's kind of funny, but it's not funny because there are people that have made livings out of creating D&D supplements, thinking that was something they were allowed to do, and they were for 20 plus years. I'm seeing a lot of videos out there that people are quitting D&D entirely. Hey, look at that video. That there are people that are just absolutely beside themselves with anger. They feel like they've been betrayed, and it's like, I don't know what to tell you. This is Hasbro. Hasbro did this to Transformers fans too. I remember back in, was it 2016, 2017 with BotCon, there was a bunch of drama about that. And, I understand that D&D is technically their IP, but again, D&D tabletop gaming has become a much bigger thing than, a Hasbro brand. I mean, it existed before Hasbro. People are going to continue to do play homebrew games, I'm sure. I think that this, what do they call it? It's a bad look. I think this is actually going to lead to a lot of people creating their own systems, maybe not actual commercial competitors because of the potential legal entanglements, but Wizards has done themselves a huge disservice. This is a massive PR black eye, and even if they walk it back, I think the damage has been done. People see that Hasbro is a corporation, a for-profit corporation. They're not your friend. Wizards of the Coast is not your friend. It's not a community. They're a for-profit company, and the person in charge of Wizards now, the woman they hired from Microsoft, again, she came from Xbox. She's all about the microtransactions. I said a couple of weeks ago, the way she was talking, she wanted to upcharge individual players and get as much money out of D&D as possible, and this is part of that plan. So let's talk about the continued backlash and potential lawsuits. There's some publishers want to try to sue Wizards. Good luck with that, I guess. I mean, I don't know if they really have a leg to stand on, but I'm no lawyer, so we'll see. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants, guys. Over 284, almost 285,000 subs. Thank you for the support. Geeky sitting this video out. This is kind of a breaking news, I guess. I've been trying to follow all day the drama on Twitter and on social media and articles. And everybody is just completely losing it over these changes. And we'll look at Twitter and some of the stuff going on here with this. A lot of people upset, a lot of people saying that they feel betrayed by Wizards, and some people even threatening lawsuits. So going out to, let's see, IGN, Wizards of the Coast OGL change draws ire from creators and fans alike. It's not right. According to IGN, according to Travis here, the tabletop industry looks to be undergoing a seismic shift based on leaked documents showing that Wizards of the Coast intends to implement a more restricted OGL agreement. According to a recent Gizmodo report, which we covered yesterday, Hasbro subsidiary Wizards of the Coast is poised to revoke its long-standing OGL, which allows for third-party publishers and fans to create D&D content using their game rules. For over 20 years, this license has empowered countless creators to make and distribute their own D&D content using tools like Kickstarter, and has allowed large publishers like Paizo, creators of Pathfinder, to become titans of the tabletop space in their own right. They don't want that. So we talked about this yesterday in the profit split, that originally it was spun that only people making, over $750,000 a year were going to be affected by the royalty agreement. And then they dropped it down to like $50,000 a year. And now it's on a case-by-case basis. And also in the fine print, if they like your stuff, they can just take it. They can just take it. That seems to be the way that the language was worded. And people said, you're jumping the gun. There's no proof that this is happening. I guess the official DnD Discord has banned any discussion of it. Wizards responded that the OGL is not going away. No, they're just forcing you to abide by OGL 1.1, which is this massive convoluted document versus the original simple to understand OGL 1.0, which is now, I guess anything that was created under that is considered bootleg DnD. So here's the thing. They bring up Cynthia Williams, the CEO, describing DnD as being really under-monetized, right? And that should have told you what they were going to do or the route they were going to take. And for the people who said that this isn't accurate, that the 1.1 leaks were not true, here's somebody weighing in from Kickstarter. This is Kickstarter's director of games, John Ritter, tweeting that Kickstarter was contacted after WotC decided to make the OGL changes, so we felt the best move was to advocate for creators, which we did. Managed to get lower percentage plus more being discussed. No hidden benefits, no financial kickbacks for Kickstarter. This is their license, not ours, obviously. If you remember, the language was something like Kickstarter has 5% less that you have to pay WotC if you use them versus like Indiegogo or something else, right? Reached out for comment by IGN. Wizards of the Coast declined to comment further and pointed toward its statement on D&D Beyond. It's not right. With the details of the draft out in the open, fans and creators alike are sounding the alarm. Pat Mooney, the lead designer at Flag Bearer Games, told IGN, the most painful part of the new OGL is the clause that gives WotC the right to use any of my content in perpetuity, royalty-free. I'm planning to kickstart a source book on the American Revolution in the spring. He went on to write, more than half of my book will be fluff or world-building history and other narrative content that has nothing to do with rolling the dice. Yet if I publish under the OGL 1.1 by the letter of the agreement, WotC could republish all my writing at their discretion. It's not right. That is the way it reads. I mean, they might have to clarify that language a little bit, but that is the way that it reads. That if you're creating supplements, that if they like them, they basically can just take them. This kind of reminds me of Nintendo with YouTube a couple of years ago, and that was a disaster. Nerd Immersion, a YouTuber and creator of D&D content through the use of OGL, told IGN, if this continues, I can see a rise in popularity of other non-D&D and non-OGL RPGs. I also wouldn't be surprised if several of the creators who are frustrated by these changes end up designing a new replacement RPG system, similar to how 4E and the game system license led to the creation of Pathfinder. That's what they're trying to avoid. I'm telling you what I think could potentially happen. And again, I'm no lawyer, and I understand that you can't copyright rules per se, but I could see Hasbro trying to argue that any D20 based RPG system is associated with D&D. I could see them doing. I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to do that, but I'm just saying they could be like, well, everybody associates D20 with D&D. In fact, we had a system called D20, and that's our brand. That's everybody knows that's us. Just like you can't have a Big Mac someplace, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I could see them trying to do something like that. And it doesn't mean it's legal. It doesn't mean it's going to stick. But the thing is this is Hasbro. This is the world's largest toy manufacturer. I think they're the world's largest toy manufacturer. They don't really have to do much except threaten smaller creators. There aren't many people that could stand up against them. And we've seen that they throw their weight around. They bully people all the time. And yeah, I mean, again, the PR damage being done right now is immense. And they're going to lose so much money. Like, they're going to lose so much money because they've lost so much goodwill. It doesn't matter what their intention is to monetize with one D&D. I think a lot of people are ultimately going to walk and they're going to find other options. I've been watching videos off and on all day, and there are people that do game supplements and with OGL, and they're like, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to do anything for D&D at this point. Some publishers like MCDM, which makes supplements for D&D, remain optimistic regarding the OGL 1.1 MCDM has taken advice from counsel, and we don't think it affects the development of Flea Mortals. If when other products are affected, we'll let the community know. So this is where a lawsuit comes into play. Tyler A. Thompson, an attorney who represents game publisher Sadfish Games and Prudence Holdings, wrote a letter to Wizards that creators are not going to be bullied, and if Wizards would not clarify the planned changes in OGL 1.1, his clients will be forced to begin preparation for litigation to the fullest extent allowable by law, including to contact major and minor publishers to join in a potential claim against Wizards for anticipatory breach and other claims, class action lawsuit. Time will tell if the leaked draft of OGL 1.1 will see the light of day, as Wizards is apparently open to being convinced we made a wrong decision. After all, it wouldn't be DnD without a DM asking, are you sure? Are you sure about that? I'm going to tell you the truth. Hasbro, Wizards, the person in charge that you hired, that you put in charge from Microsoft, I think she needs to go. If this is the direction that they're going to take your brand, if they're going to drag your brand through the mud right before the movie comes out, right before you launch a new edition, I think she's got to go. I really do. I mean, this is insane, and we know it's going to get worse. So a lot of people talking about Critical Role being affected, Matt Mercer liking posts supporting the fans, but people are just like, yeah, we're done. We're done. Caved and gave WotC money, need the Optimus and Megatron cards. That should give you an indication of where they're going with this anyway. It's just a brand to them. You know, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's Hasbro. Those of us who have been collecting toys for as long as I have know how Hasbro is. They're, you know, the Disney of toy companies, and this is how they roll. No pun intended. In a magical, almost insane twist of fate, the official D&D Discord has banned any and all discussion of the OGL. Don't talk about it, or WotC Papa will get upset. Shit ton of people working at WotC have literally no say and are likely gag ordered not to weigh in on the situation. Don't take your anger out on people who have done nothing wrong. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Matt Mercer liked this Critical Role. Matt Mercer liked this one. A hot take: D&D is the #1 tabletop RPG in the world because of the open game license and the community of designers and players this has fostered, not because it's a better game, not even because it's called D&D. Yeah, I think so to some degree. You know, but this is it right here. This is it. We want more money. We want more money from the community. They've said it. I love this meme. I use your work and you take 25%, right? You take my work and pay nothing. That doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem fair. So yeah, I think it's, oh my God, the official Critical Role subreddit is blocking discussion on the new OGL changes by WotC. Oh my God. This is crazy. Well, Critical Role, yeah, they're not immune to this, but they probably already have an agreement with WotC. And I think that they actually might have prompted this, because I guarantee you, Wizards was looking at the amounts of money and they're desperate for money. The last quarter was not good, and Wizards is being blamed for that because of overprinting Magic cards. They're looking at the amounts of money that Critical Role and other people are making on Kickstarter. In fact, this comicbook.com article, they talked about this. Here's a guy, or a girl rather, Emma Lambert, a longtime creator of D&D material, did a Kickstarter, raised over $340,000 in 2021. If the current information on 1.1 is accurate, we will be changing course, even though we would be unlikely to pay royalties at present, reporting our revenue, signing away permission to use our work, even theoretically, and chancing that Wizards may decide to adjust their royalty threshold at any time to affect us. Our risks far too great for our business to bear. We're adjusting our next book to exclude any content that would require us to be subject to any OGL. Here's Irf Jordan, a well-known Emmy Award-nominated designer. I have a Kickstarter that's very, very nearly ready to launch, but my fingers hovering over the button because I don't want to publish it under OGL 1.1. I'm worried the new license will drop partway through the Kickstarter and include some ridiculous terms I can't agree to, and I'll have to abandon the project and all the art and writing I've sunk into it. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I mean, this definitely tosses a grenade into it, but I'm telling you, this is what prompted them to rewrite the OGL. They're looking at the amounts of money that they're not making, supplements for their game system, and they want that money. They want the money, And what's going to happen is they're going to blow themselves up. They're going to create more competitors. And again, I think the PR damage that's been done at this point is going to cost them so much money. And if they were smart, and we know these corporations usually aren't smart, they would change course immediately. But I don't even know if that's going to change things, because obviously it shows that they're willing to toss their fandom under the bus until it turns out that it's not a very popular decision. And again, you know, we've seen this before with My Little Pony. We've seen it with Transformers. We've been there with Hasbro. It's just, now it's WotC's turn to Hasbro. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.